let's continue. So we're on a very interesting topic, and the topic is ribbis, right? Interest. And we saw that it's not a simple matter, right? And it's Siman 65 and halacha number 11. So it's not simple matter like prepay or they agreed, right? Okay, so let's see. So last time what did we say? To do like a personal favor for somebody, right? So to do a personal favor, and last halacha, that's, I mean, without Shulchan Aruch, you would not, I would not know, right? So one borrows from another money, and the lender needs a job, and now the borrower hires the lender, pays him salary. So he did not pay less, he did not pay more, exactly as what he would pay to other person with his qualifications, right, in this area. But we suspect maybe the only reason he hired this lender is because he's a lender, right? So if he would never hire him before, so it would be forbidden. As I explained before, there are many like simple list workers. They have more cash than supposedly rich people, right? Many. I don't want to say many, but I know some for sure, right? Okay, so continue. Number 11. In this if the prohibition known as lending a seya for a seya is detailed. Okay, finally we got to this halacha, as I was explaining before, like when one borrows a produce, not money, produce, wheat, sack of wheat, right, and the price goes up or goes down, what should we do? So that's very interesting halacha. So it says it is prohibited to lend someone seya of produce in order that the borrower should later give him a seya of produce in return, even if they are both of the same kind of produce. For perhaps in the meantime, the price of the produce will rise, and it will turn out that the borrower is returning goods that are more valuable than those that he borrowed. Okay, maybe a little more. We're going to split, it's too long. Rather, to avoid this problem, when the loan of the produce is made, he should convert it to loan of its value by assessing its value and setting up the loan so that he is lending the value of the produce and not the produce itself. Thus, if the price of the produce should rise, he will give him only the original value in return. I mean, that's what we said last time, but right? But now we have to see the details, how it actually works, right? So from the beginning, commentaries, and we're going to explain BeEzrat HaShem. So again, this prohibition knows seya for seya, meaning seya is a measurement of the I think it's dry produce, right? Something like, okay. So again, if it is prohibited to lend someone seya of produce, seya measurement of volume, exactly. This prohibition applies to any amount. That doesn't matter. Seya is just a famous measurement, right? So you cannot again lend somebody produce and expect to get this amount of produce back. Okay. Produce. In order that the borrower should later give him seya of produce in return. So he borrowed this. So I guess that's that's would be the problem. Even if you borrowed like a pack of sugar, right? The whole bag of sugar. I guess more or less these prices are stable. So if it's I guess less than 16%, so maybe nobody is going to care, but maybe not. Okay, we'll see. Okay, So one second. Okay, so he cannot lend seah in order to get seah in return, even if they are both of the same kind of price. So it's not like he's like borrows, I don't know what is it, a cucumber, and he's going to return in beans. No, he borrows cucumber. He's going to return in cucumbers. Okay, so there is exactly the same like produce back. So exactly the style, the same kind and stuff like that. For perhaps in the meantime, the price of the product will rise, right? And it will turn out that the borrower is returning goods that are more valuable than those that he borrowed, right? So I guess forget about cucumbers. I think wheat is better. So he borrowed this sack of wheat. At that time, it cost $100. Let's say I don't know how much is wheat, but let us say $100. So now it is $120. Okay, possible, right? So that's for sure. This 20 is going to be interest. Okay, that's not what he meant. He needs only wheat. Yeah, we understand that, but technically, like practically, not like practically, that's what he got. He gave right, even though he got exactly the same sack, exactly the same weight, but if he's going to sell this price, so he's going to get more money. Okay, come to. Although he returned exactly the same amount of produce that he borrowed, nevertheless, it is rabbinically, so it's not biblical. So okay, so it's very very important that they mention it's not biblical. Biblical, it's like if he returned him more, right? He returned like sack and plus half a bucket or something, right? So yeah, that would be for sure forbidden biblically. But here it's like looks like I mean exactly the same produce, exactly the same weight, but since money wise, right, it's more expensive, it's forbidden rabbinically. So it is forbidden rabbinically prohibited to return the more valuable produce, since that what he is returning, it was a greater value. Again, we convert to value than what is borrowed. In order to avoid this situation, the sages forbade the lending of the goods unless one does it in a permitted manner cited by the Kitzur, in a line that follows follows in a permissible situation cited by Kitzur afterwards. So I mean we're going to see in this halacha or maybe next halacha. Right, so we go only what Kitzur says. Kitzur says that we convert it to money, and we landed. Yeah, I give him what is it? Wheat, maybe for convenience. Maybe he needs wheat. Maybe he needs money. But I'm in a what is it in the village? I don't have money, right? So money used to be like only in the city, right? They have money. They don't have produce. These people in villages, they're very rich. I mean, produce-wise, like if they sell the produce, they can get a lot of money. But cash, maybe they not so much. So this guy needs cash, and he comes to his neighbor. That's the way I see it. The way the neighbor said, "Look, I don't have money, but I have wheat. So go to the market. Here's a sack of wheat. Go to the market, sell it, and have yourself money." Okay, so the guy goes to the market, sell it. Let's say he gets this $100, and the guy said, "I'm going to return your money." He said, "I don't need money. What am I going to do? I need to eat. Like it's right. I need to eat. So return me in wheat." But he also can say, "Return me in money." So because this wheat now costs, like according to local prices, market price is 100. So return me 100 for wheat. Right, but wheat would be that worth according to the market. Okay, continue. This prohibition is not limited to produce. It applies to all goods and merchandise except local currency. That's very interesting, right? So all goods and merchandise that the price can go up and down, I guess. Yoredaya 162.1, Igras Moshe, Yoredaya volume 2, paragraph 145. 14. We say that this exclusion applies even to our paper currency that is not tied to the value of gold and silver. This prohibition is not limited to produce. It applies to all goods in the merchandise except local currency. So in local currencies, you borrow this $100, so and you're going to return 5 years later. It's going to be $100. The buying power is lower, so the buying power is lower. Right? I still have many people in my life, they cannot go over this. How can you lend somebody, and sometimes like the people right in one class, over maybe we cover this topic like different, like every few years we come across this topic. So if you lend somebody, you're not allowed to say interest, but a guy always say, I cannot believe it says that. So what's going on? What is it? Yeah, but if he's going to lend them $1,000 and the guy is going to return $1,000 10 years later, like it's nothing. It's not a nothing, but maybe it's like 30% less, I guess. Maybe more. I don't know. It's very interesting. Okay. Just 1 second. Okay, so we said that. Okay, so it says even in the things as paper money. So paper money is like it's no connection. It used to be connection with the gold, but today is not. So there is no connection to the gold. Okay. Foreign currency is considered a commodity and is treated as a merchandise. Very interesting. For a further discussion, see the laws of ribbis by Rabbi Israel Reisman. Okay, so it's very, very interesting. So foreign currency is considered to be merchandise because I guess you cannot use it in this country. You can only like sell. I mean, buy or sell, but it's like nobody's going to use it. So maybe you want to resell this local currency. Okay, it's very interesting. However, the prohibition of lending a seah for a seah does not apply to article that is being lent for use and afterwards returned intact, such as a tool. Okay, so seah for seah, it's like okay, so it's like it would apply to the produce or some other things that go up and down in value. But if he like borrow only like furniture or tools that like even though it like he returns exactly the same item, that's the difference. Exactly the same. I borrow pliers from him, so I return the pliers. Okay, so in this case, it doesn't matter how pliers are worth. I return him exactly the same thing. So but if I borrow from him the sack of wheat, so most likely I would eat this wheat, right, as make a bread, or maybe sell on the market and take the money and spend it. Okay, but the tool is different, of course. Indeed, in such a case, even the actual payment for the article use is generally permitted. Right, so you can rent your tools, since it is not considered interest, but a rent for the object, which is permissible. See Yoreh De'ah 176 for further discussion. So you can rent your room, right? You have a house, you have an apartment. You can rent your apartment. So and you're allowed to take money for that, and you're allowed to rent your field, right? And charge money. Like it could be like sharecroppers. Sharecroppers meaning that he said he has to pay you like a partial of the produce. Whatever is it, 30%, 25%, 20%, whatever is it. Right? There is no problem. So the only problem is in these cases that we're discussing. Continue. Rather, to avoid this problem, when the loan of the produce is made, he should convert the loan of its value by assessing the value and setting up the loan so that he's lending the value of the produce. So even though he's giving him the sack of wheat, but this wheat is we converted it to $100 and not the produce itself. So basically, the way I understand that he can return in any other manner. So he borrowed from me this sack of wheat, and let's say he wants to return to me in with a wine. Okay, so if I accept the wine, and it's the same market value, so I can accept the wine. I can accept money, wheat, or like all other things, whatever we agree, because we go by value. Continue. Thus, if the price of the product should rise, he will give only its original value in return. So again, in money or in otherwise. Okay. Commentary. For example, if at the time of the loan the sale of the product was worth $10, the loan must be set up as a loan of the value of $10. Thus, even if the price of the product rises and the amount of the product now sells for 12, he will not be obligated to pay more than 10 than it was. Okay. I mean, that's what we got it. Okay. So far, so good. So we converted to money. We tied our loan to the value of the loan, not to a specific item. Okay. But if he lends him specific item, I don't know, like as we said, a tool, a drill or something, and he wants to charge money, like special drill, like hammer drill that drills, I don't know what, right? So he said, I'm going to charge you $20 a day. There's no problem, right? He can charge. It's not interest. He's getting his drill back and money. Continue. Kitzur details two exceptions. Before we continue with exception, any questions on what we said before we go to exceptions?
Rabbi?
Yes.
Case since we have globalized economy nowadays, and we are able to use foreign currency online, I wonder if the concept of asayah for asayah applies to foreign currency. For example, if one borrows 100 euro when it's worth 98 US dollars and returns 100 euro when it's worth 110 US dollars. Does this count as ribbis? Does it make a difference if the person is in euro using country or not?
So they okay. So they have to agree. They have to agree. So if person borrows 100 euros, and at that time he gets 100 euros. At this time it costs $98. And when he has to pay back, he has to pay back in euros, I guess. Because he got 100 euros. That's what he needed. He needed to borrow 100 euros, and that's how he pays back in euros, yes. I think. You understand? It's by the value of what you get. Okay. Any other questions before I continue? Okay, so let's go to go ahead.
No, I mean just part I said doesn't make a difference if the person is in euro using country or not.
No, that doesn't matter. I mean, he got he borrowed in this he borrowed in this currency because it's more convenient to him. Our sack of wheat. So the guy needed $100. I did not have $100. I said, look, I have a sack of wheat. You want it? So how much is it? It's exactly $100. Well, exactly what do you need? And I said, well, we wait. Like I say, it was 120, so we reduce it. Now exactly, I'm giving you a sack of wheat. It's not exactly full, but now it costs $100. So he's yours. You understand? So he borrowed, so we converted right away what he gets, not what I paid, what he gets. You understand? So even, for example, I bought this wheat for $50, let's say, right? But market price is 100, so we go by the market price at this point, at the time of borrowing. That's what we care. How much this was worth on the time of borrowing, and that's it. We connect our loan to that currency, to the wheat, or not to the wheat, to the value of the wheat. Okay. Good.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So even does this apply even if the wheat is according to the price of the market is, I don't know, 10 or 20% higher at the time that he's giving it back in exchange for the $100, even if it's more expensive than the $100 that it was supposed to cost?
No, he's going. So for example, the guy said, you know what? Okay, so the wheat, the sack of the wheat is $100. We agreed. Yeah, we agreed. So you owe me, so we convert right away. We convert the loan into money. So this loan is for $100. So I can get he can get me $100 in euros, for example, at that point. So if I do not care, he can give me $100 as a money, and he can give me $100 as a wheat. He can give me $100 in a tools or something, or a gift card, whatever monetary value, right, equal to 100 I can get. I can receive from him. Understand? So that's the connection to wheat. So say for say is forbidden, because as you said, well, when he landed, it was like the market like overflowed, like where I live. That's very interesting. You see, like with the fruits, for example, they brought these fruits, I don't know, from some country. So all of the stores have it. Of course, there is competition. They're trying to sell, and then the shipments like waning down. So, and only some of them have saw that the price is going up. You understand? So it's exactly the same fruits, or they say like vegetables, whatever, but the price is going up a little. Not a lot, but a little, right? Because of the demand. So it's possible. It's very possible. Okay. So again, we go by volume. Okay. All right. Any other questions before I continue?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there's another question. It says, is it only ribbis if we return greater than received? If we obtain the amount we received elsewhere for a discounted cost, it is not ribbis? No,
it's our business. The guy does not care. I mean, he needs just get what he gave you. That's it. You could have bought it like 3 times less. It's your own business. So if that's how the market works, right? That's how the whole merchant works. They buy for less and like wholesale, and sell you for with a premium, right? So, but I mean, for example, I used to have an access to the wholesale stuff, but wholesale is huge. I mean, maybe it's like if somebody go to Alibaba, right, and say, so they say minimum order like 10,000, and you see, like if you buy 10,000, it's like few pennies. But if you buy now, you're going to buy in individuals, it's going to cost you $10. Understand? Of course, you have to pay for delivery, this and that, and you have to like store it somewhere, and you have to ship it, and you have to like package, like repackage boxes, packing material, like labels, like all of these beautiful things. You understand? But when you see what is wholesale price, that's huge. You understand? But can I personally buy for this wholesale price, even if I'm not going to buy? So I'm going to buy individual things for more money. I mean, why should I care? You understand? So again, so the answer to that question, even if he bought 3 times less and he returns to me the value, that's his business. That's his gain, I guess. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Ribbis? Yes.
On this question of the currency, our friend says, just to make sure I understand the concept correctly. Instead of the specific product, we convert the product into its value, aka into local currency, and the purchasing power of that amount of currency.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. Exactly. At currency at that time. That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. Any other questions?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so let's continue. So now we finished with the rule, and now we're going into exceptions. So let's see. Kitzur detailed 2 exceptions to the prohibition of lending goods for an equal amount of goods, seah for seah, without assessing its value. Okay. So meaning, okay, so first exception. If at the time of the loan the borrower owns even small amount of this kind of the produce that he wishes to borrow, it is permissible to borrow even a 7 core of the same produce, with a stipulation that he returns the same amount of produce that he borrowed. Let's see one more time with commentaries. Okay. So what is exception? First exception. If at the time of the loan, the borrower owns even small amount of the kind of produce, so he borrowed a sack of wheat and he has some wheat, like quarter of the sack, let's say, he wishes to borrow. It is permissible to borrow even 7 core, so it means a lot. Commentary, a large measure equal to 20 seah. This is in fact true regardless any amount. So I mean he's trying to say huge amount. So he has like half of the sack of wheat. So they say you can borrow 40 sacks or 50, 100 sacks, right? It is permissible to borrow even several core, right? Why? Of the same produce, with the stipulation that he returns the same amount of produce that he borrowed. So let's see the rationale. So I mean the bottom line is understandable, but without rationale it doesn't, right? I mean, like what to do, we got it, but what is the rationale behind it? In case where the commenter is the case of where the borrower owns type of the produce that he is borrowing, it is considered as if the produce is transferred to the lender at the time of the borrowing. Thus, any fluctuation in price is viewed as having occurred in the lender's possession. Rashi to Bava Metzia 44b. This allowance extends even to a case in which the borrower owns a small amount of produce, and he may take out loan of many times that amount on the basis that the basis of that produce as wide to see that Tzaz, Shlach, Shach, and Rashi, and etc. Okay. So far there is no actually explanation, but let's read again, try to see at least what we can get from here. So one more time. What is it? Bava Metzia. I have Bava Metzia. So one more time. In a case where the borrower owns a type of the produce that he's a borrower, so he has half a sack, but he wants to borrow 40 sacks, right, of wheat. It is considered as if the produce is transferred to the lender. It is transferred to the lender in the time of the borrowing. The produce is transferred to the lender in time of the borrowing. Okay. I mean, okay, but that's I'm not sure what is new here. What is Hidush here? I mean, it is transferred. He got this 40 sacks from us. Okay, that's even it's understandable. If he borrows, he gets this, right? One more time. In case where the borrower owns a type of the produce he's borrowing, it is considered as if that produce is transferred to the lender or lender, so the guy who has 40 sacks in the time of the borrowing. So he has this the quarter sack of wheat, and he wants to borrow 40. So he gives this guy half a sack, the way I understand. Thus, any fluctuation in price is viewed as having occurred in the lender's possession. I'm not sure. This allowance extends even to the case in which the borrower owes a small amount of produce, and he may take out a loan of many times that amount on the basis of that produce. Okay, so let's set it aside because this explanation is not enough. Like the way I understand what it says here. So this guy, the borrower, has a quarter of sack. So in some sense, when he borrows, he gives like this half a sack to the lender, and he borrows, I don't know, the whole amount. I'm not sure how does it work. I mean, and it looks like, I don't know how it looks like. That's any fluctuation. So I mean, any fluctuation was while this wheat was in a lender's possession. Okay, so let's leave it aside because some information is missing. As sometimes when sages debate in a Gemara, and there is expression this Mishnah or this Baraisa, they would call it. Right? In the Mishnah Baraisa, it looked like the words are missing, and they start like inserting the words. So with these words, they edit like it changes the meaning completely. Right? Sometimes the other side was accepted, sometimes it would not accept, but without these words was not clear. So I think something is, I have about mitzvah 44b. Okay, so continue. So let's leave the explanation alone, but we got the point. The bottom line, we have to accept. Right? So if he has a little, so he can borrow many times more, right? And he can return in a produce. Continue. Second exception. So too, if that kind of the produce has set market price, it is permissible to borrow the produce, even though the borrower does not have any of this kind of produce. In both of these cases, payment must be made in the form of the produce borrowed, even if the price arose in the interim. This is all speaking of the same kind of produce. However, with regard to unlike kinds of produce, for example, he lends sale of wheat in order to receive the sale of millet in return, it is prohibited under all circumstances, even if they have the same market price. And the borrower has a quality millet already, quantity millet in his possession. Already in his possession. Nevertheless, to lend a small item, regarding which one does not normally care about the rise or fall in the price, it is permitted under all circumstances. Therefore, a woman may lend a loaf of bread to her friend. Okay, so let's do the same with there are many commentaries and try to understand. So, second exception. So too, if that kind of produce has a set market price. So set market price in olden days, just so we know, it was actually the job of the beis-din, right? They would walk around of the town, and they would investigate, right, and see, and they would set up market prices, so nobody would be allowed to sell for more or less. Of course, if it's a Jewish market or something, right? Right, and they would be also responsible to check all the weights, right? Scales and weights. Okay, so that's what I think that they're talking about here. The price that has a set price. So I mean a set price until the beis-din changes the price. So how often is happening? I'm not sure. So, but many times I understand it's not too often, right? So that's why they would have this exception. Okay. So one more time. So two, if that kind of produce has a set market price, it is permissible to borrow the produce. So meaning what that based in, let's say they change, if it's in a season of this, or I said like really about a season. I'm not sure if there is a season for wheat. Maybe like for fresh wheat, it's going to be a little cheaper, but otherwise like they have a market price. Are people allowed to sell below the market price? I think, if they want to, but not above. Okay, so one more time. So too, if that kind of produce has a set market price, it is permissible to borrow the produce, even though the borrower does not have any of this kind of produce. So meaning what, that this is an exception, that because it is a stable price, the price is not going to up or down because it's regulated by the sages. Commentary. When the goods are really available available to all at the set price, it is viewed as the borrower already has in possession some of the type of the goods that he is borrowing. That's very interesting. In which case the prohibition of lending for sale does not apply. Okay, so so let's read one more time. We're going to explain. It's very interesting. So, like stable market price, meaning that this guy can go anytime and buy produce if he want to, right? So it's very interesting. One more time. When the goods are readily available to all at the set price, right? So meaning he borrow a sack of wheat today, so he can go tomorrow or 3 days later and buy another sack of wheat. The price is going to be the same. It is viewed as the borrower already has in his possession some type of goods that he's borrowing. So meaning that he can go and buy it at any time. So it's like he already has it, like it's already available. Like I don't know, whatever you have, like water or milk, right? And you store it. Like you say, why should I buy milk now, right? If we still have like water of container. So I'm going to buy when we finish, run out. So I'm going to go buy fresh milk. Why should I be in a rush? So exactly the same price. So like in some that's the parallel that I see. Okay, so it's like you have a milk. So because you're passing the store from way to work from work, so it's like you have a milk. Like it does not cost you anything. You just go there and buy whenever you need. Okay, so it's like you have it. Okay. So, in which case the prohibition of lending sale for sale does not apply, meaning that later on the market price is going to be higher, like not right, and he would not be able to buy at the same price $100 for sack, let's say 6 months later. Okay, so that's not the case here. Okay, so continue 1 second. So in both of these cases, payment may be made in the form of the produce borrowed, even that the price rose in the interim. So, so in both of the cases, first case when he had the produce, and the second case when the price was the market price was stable, and he was able to buy, so it's like he already had some, right? Because he could have bought like any time. He decided not to. That's a different story, right? So in this case, he may return in this produce. Okay, this is all speaking of the same kind of produce. However, with regard to unlike kind of produce, for example, to lend the sale of wheat in order to receive sale of millet in return is prohibited under all circumstances. But even if they have the same market price, so basically it's the way I see it does not contradict what we said before, because before we said so we converted this loan into money, let's say into 100. And the guy said, he can return $100 or wheat worth of $100 or other things, If the other side accept that's a current market value, he can accept. Okay, but they cannot stipulate from the beginning. So I'm going to lend you this sack of the of wheat, and you're going to return me in the millet. That's a different story. Okay, even they have the same market price. Okay, we said that, and the borrower has a quantity of millet already in his possession. Rama 162.5. This applies to any of the goods or merchandise. For the explanation of this rule, see Igras Moshe. Even if they say the market price, and the borrower has a quantity of millet already in his possession, I guess, you know what, maybe I'll take it back. So, I mean, straightforward understanding of this halacha, he would not be allowed. So if he borrowed the wheat, he must return in wheat or in money. Okay. I mean, that's what it seems from here, but in my understanding, like based on my knowledge, I don't see what's the problem. If somebody owes me $100, let's say, and I say, okay, you know what, you have beautiful apples, right? How much is the apples? Such and such. Okay, I'm going there. Give me $50 in apples. So what is the problem? I'm not sure. Okay, so we leave it. Maybe we're going to get to it. Nevertheless, to lend a small item, regarding which one does not normally care about the rise of the price of fall, it is permitted under all circumstances. So maybe like the cup of sugar or something. Okay, so I mean, nobody cares about a little more, like to the brim, less than the brim, like that's nobody cares. I mean, I guess maybe crazy people care when it's famine or something. Yes, but otherwise people do not care. Okay, therefore, a woman may lend a loaf of bread to her friend. Okay, so 24 commentary. The friend meant okay. So if it's before we continue, so if it's something like insignificant value, I mean it has value, right? But people usually not so insistent, like exactly this bread, that bread, right? So that's you can borrow in the bread and return with the bread. But on the other hand, if people are very particular, so you're not allowed. You have to be very, very precise. Okay. 24. The friend may later return another loaf of bread, even the price has risen in the meantime. Okay, so because it's not significant, I guess. Okay, this is because the most part of the price fluctuation is small and not considered meaningful to most people. Okay. All right. So I mean, again, so if fluctuation is small, so but if it's like so I'm like some products like where we live like for past I don't know how many years they went like 20%, 20 times more, 10 times more, like crazy, absolutely crazy amount, like 10 times for sure, many things, but like prices 10 times more than they used to be, right? But salary, I don't know, maybe double, not even. Interesting. Okay. Right, but bread, let's say they say do not rise very much. So Mishnah Berurah 452, Sigras Mashe Yeregdeya volume 3, Hilchas Ribbis. Okay, for further discussion. In fact, one may even borrow a small amount of bread on Erev Pesach before the time of prohibition of Chometz and return after Pesach, even though at the time that he is returning, the bread price is considerably higher, since even such a difference in price is insignificant with regard to the small amount borrowed. Mishnah Berurah 422. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable example. I would never think of this example. It's very practical. So you have let's say a Pesach. Pesach is on Motzei Shabbos, right? And then people, let's say um, what did they do? They sold it, they ate it, they destroyed it, whatever. So they did not, they forgot completely. Let's put it this way. They forgot completely that they need bread for Shabbos meals, for day meal, right? So they completely forgot. So now, like before Shabbos, of course it's allowed. So they they borrowed this bread from someone, and then after the Pesach, they return the bread, and usually um, usually they would return the bread usually after Pesach the bread like a little higher value, right? Because everybody wants the bread, right? So as I never forget, like one person that I was I hold them very spiritual when I was very younger, much younger, right? And somehow, right, was not naive, and he had a boy, like a young. This boy was, I don't know what time, what age, maybe 10 years old, 11, I don't know, 10 years old, right? Nice, very nice boy, very sweet guy. And so, I mean, what I'm going to talk to him? Nothing, right? So I said, "Are you ready for Pesach?" Right? That was before Pesach, and he said, "Yeah, we're ready for Pesach," and we already bought several pizzas and froze them. You see how smart we are? I said, "Excuse me, what do you mean?" Like old people, they throw out the homets. Like for several years, we made sure we have no homets. We did not sell because nothing was to sell. Very interesting, right? So that's uh, but they specifically bought the pizza and froze it in. Of course, they sell it to non-Jew like all others that you can have, but they prepare already. They prepare the day after Pesach. As soon as Pesach is over, they can put in the microwave or whatever, in oven, whatever they do. I don't know, this frozen pizza, and then they would have pizza. No, not frozen, not frozen, like fresh pizza, then frozen. It's very interesting. So I was like shocked. You normal, your father, his father was. Unfortunately, right, one of those clowns. And the Shabbos before that, he was, I think, maybe it was on Tuesday or something. Monday, so on Shabbos, he was he was talking about homets so passionately that you have to get rid of the homets, and homets is Eitzechara and this story, and he was shaking, and he got so excited, from people onlooker, they many bought it, right? But just hear what your son is saying. What he actually what the essence of yours. So you say homets destroy this and that, and then but I'm destroying the homets, spiritual homets, physical homets. But before I destroy, I bought more. Understand? So as soon as I destroy my homets, I want the first opportunity to have more. This kind of hypocrites. Okay. So, but if somebody and it's for sure long line, before right after the holiday is over, a long line to the pizza stores, to the bagel stores, and some rabbis say there is a problem because of course until the owner would come, they let non-Jewish worker come and they start working with the door. That's a problem, because it still belongs to a non-Jew. Big issue. Okay. One should tell his fellow, join me for a meal in return for the meal that you once gave me. Okay, so that's another solution. Since it gives the appearance that he is repaying a loan, in the event that he provides him and a more elaborate meal, it would appear to be ribbis. If, however, so that's very very unexpected, right? So he said, "Join me for a meal," as so you treat me with a meal. I wanna give you the meal, right? So it's like in return. So in that food, in some sense, was a loan. So and now if I put extra few dishes, so he's going to get more than I got from him. So it is in some sense ribbis. If, however, one says, join me for a meal, and I will join you another time, there are those who maintain that this is understood not as a loan, very interesting, but as a graceful gesture, as to the guest not to feel embarrassed to accept to accept the meal, right? So said, yeah, please come. Next time we're going to go to your place, this and that. So it's like to feel this person better, right? It's not free. I'm not giving like something for free. You're going to it's going to be an opportunity in the future. You're going to pay me back. Right? It's not payback, but okay. In fact, since the offer to join the recipient for the meal at another time is not intended to serve as repayment, the latter may in return serve him a meal that is more elaborate, and the one who receives. Rema or Chaim 170:13 has explained the Mishnah Brura there. Okay. So let me quickly check what time is it. Wow.